Happy Monday. Did you enjoy that rain yesterday? It's the 5th week of Easter, and you are listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. My name is Tim Mott. I'm the general manager of this radio station, and so that means I get to host the local show as well. So I thank you for taking part of your lunch break. Join us for our lunch break and to continue to catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. We've got a lot of people to talk to today. We've got Incarnate Word Academy in the house. Incarnate Word Academy turns 150 this year, so they're celebrating their, sesquicentennial anniversary? I remember that. Okay, yes, sesquicentennial, that's right. And also, Wyatt has a new report for us from the Epiphany of the Lord golf tournament. So if you've never heard of Acts retreats before, I mean, you're listening to Catholic radio. I don't know how that could be possible, but he's going to highlight that for you as well. And our Pro-Life in Houston segment, Sean Carney. Sean Carney, the president, founder of 40 Days for Life, is going to be our guest because not only is there big news here in Houston, but there's also big news in the pro-life national scene as well. But you know, 40 Days for Life started here in Houston. And of course, our Loving Choice segment as well. But before we get to that, we've got new guys on the board here. Of course, our regulars, Valeria's running the video. If you would like to see the video, go to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube and look for GRN Online. Valeria, this is your penultimate day on the job here. I'm so sorry. We'll have to do like a big party next week for you. She's from Cristo Rey College Preparatory. Carol Herrera is supervising everything, our super volunteer. David Magallanes, you actually are still doing the sports report, but you have been relieved. You'll notice they're not talking right now because they're all like sharing one microphone. But Taylor Van Nest is the new guy in the house. Taylor Van Nest is the board operator for our weekend show, The Spirit World. Hey, Taylor, swing that microphone around. I want you to say hi to the audience here.
How's it going, everyone?
Yeah, you got to turn the microphone on, man.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, good. It's so good to have you here just to get you a little more experience on the board here and show you kind of how we do it with the local show. Spirit World is national, of course, and so it's global, really. So you're sitting here by yourself in this one room, and there's millions of people listening all over the world. But now, this is the exciting part because we've got more people in the studio than are listening. Wait. No, that's not how that works. No,
I know what they say.
We got a ton of people listening. We got a ton of people in the studio. We're going to have a great time today. So thank you very much, man. If you have any questions, ask David.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with our prayer like we always do. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thine intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly into thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand, sinful and sorrowful. O Mother of the Word incarnate, despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so for those of you who have been following along, Carol has been doing her pilgrimage to visit every single church in the Archdiocese. And Carol, where did you go yesterday during that big old storm?
Well, yes, actually, Tim, it took me an hour to get to Mass yesterday. I was a wreck by the time I got there. But yesterday, I went to Our Lady of Guadalupe in Rosenberg. And, I walked in and I was trying to not be seen because I was a little late.
You don't like driving in the rain, do you?
No, I don't like driving in the rain. It was, yes, hectic. But anyway, I was nervous and all, and I walk in the church, and this woman gave me this beautiful rose. She's smiling and all, and she hands me a rose. And she immediately calmed me down. I mean, it was just, she put me at ease. So it was a blessing that she was there. And it turns out that as soon as Mass started, we went up to the altar to offer it to our Blessed Mother because yesterday was the coronation of our Blessed Mother. So I didn't know that. I learned that yesterday. Anyway, Mass was wonderful. The church is amazing. It's a Spanish mission type of style church, and it serves a predominantly Hispanic community. But I want to give a shout out to Pastor Lee Flores, who was so nice. He gave me this grand tour of the church. And Tim,
it's nice to get that personal attention from the pastor.
Tim, there is a story behind that church we need to get on the radio.
I would love to.
Oh, Tim.
Well, now that you're good friends with Father Lee, you got to tell him to get him onto the radio. We got to book him.
Definitely, Tim. Yeah. But I just want to mention that one thing that did amaze me while he was talking about the different things in his church. I mean, well, the sanctuary is mind blowing. It's so beautiful. The church itself and the inside, it's just so beautiful. They have the statuary throughout the church is about 6 to 7 feet tall. The statues are.
Wow.
And what I learned is that each statue is made up of one piece of wood. Okay. And it was made in Mexico and it was brought here. But
kind of like the statues we've got here in the studio too.
Right,
Yeah, these are a lot
right.
from Mexico as well.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Mr. Robles provided them. That's right. But anyway, the only one that's about 8 foot tall
8 feet. Wow.
8 feet was Saint Michael the Archangel. So yes, it was amazing church. But if you want to learn more about Our Lady of Guadalupe, please go to their website at olrosenberg.org. And looking back now, Tim, that long drive in the rain was worth every bit of it. Okay.
Well, I had a long drive too because I actually went far north.
You were on the other side of town.
Yeah, way on the other side of town. I went up to Magnolia, which is about an hour drive from me, coming from Sugar Land.
I heard you on the radio on the way home.
Well, the rain wasn't quite as bad up there, and so they had their Parish Festival. We did a broadcast from there. It was great. A shout out to Mary Ann Zanoff, who gave me a lot of awesome interviews, and I just got a call from the church saying that I won one of the silent auction items. So, yeah,
good for you.
Thank you, everyone. It was a lot of fun. I did not get to talk to the pastor, though, but I did get to talk to Marcus Luttrell, who actually is, he wrote a book called Lone Survivor, got made into a movie starring Mark Wahlberg. That was pretty cool. Come to find out, he goes to church there at St. Matthias, and they have a podcast as well. Anyway, the rain did not stop the people at St. Matthias from coming out and enjoying it. We had a great turnout there. So even though you braved the thick of the storm, we were on the edge of it, and it was wonderful, covering both sides of the city. And Wyatt actually was at Mary Queen, so hopefully we'll get some good recordings out of that for next week.
Yes, definitely.
So we covered, Friendswood, Rosenberg,
Amen.
the Magnolia. We're just missing the Northeast. Maybe we have someone from St. Martha who can join us.
There you go.
One of our guests. There you go. There you go. Exactly.
Ask and you shall receive.
That's right. Okay. But speaking of the people to talk to, we got a lot of people to talk to. So let's jump into the sports report. David Magallanes, how are you doing, man? Did you spend anywhere interesting this weekend?
No, I got some rest this weekend, so
Okay.
It was good.
Carol doing the hard work for you.
Exactly. Did some dad duties and got some stuff done over the weekend.
But that does not stop you from reporting on our Catholic high school sports scores.
Yeah, so it's going to be a slow week. We are in the playoffs. So, hey, Dave the Sports Guy here, rolling out your Catholic high school sports report for the Houston area and the playoffs. So let's start with boys baseball. Straight Jesuit Fighting Crusaders defeated Clearbrook Wolverines. And now girls softball. St. Pius X Panthers crushed Bishop Lynch Friars. And that's a wrap of this week's high school sports report for the week of May 1st. Keep your radio tuned to AM 1430 for next week's recap of Houston's Catholic sports. And now back to you, Tim.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Night, short and sweet with the playoffs there. But let's go ahead and jump into our Loving Choice segment. You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston, brought to you in part by Loving Choice, the only Catholic pregnancy help center in this greater Houston area. And so our guest today is Erica, let me see if I can get this right, Garcia Malave, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Erica. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Loving Choice.
Well, I am a mom of 6 children. 4 of them are in heaven already, and I have 2 teenagers. I'm a wife, and I'm a parishioner at St. Anthony of Padua Catholic Church. I've been in Loving Choice Pregnancy Help Center since the very beginning.
Since the very beginning, which was only 3 years ago, really. So, but even so, what do you do there? Do you? I think you're the director of volunteers.
Yes, I am. I'm a volunteer myself, and I started as a volunteer, but now I am a new volunteer director.
Do you ever get your teenagers to come and help?
Yes.
Oh, good. You're modeling good stuff for them there. But having gone through 6 pregnancies, wow, this has got to be very personal for you when you're dealing with other moms who are in crisis pregnancies as well.
Well, I believe I have a gift.
Tell me about it.
Yes. I can. what I mean is I don't take personal their challenges. Like I care for them and anything else, but it's not like I could deal without getting involved. Like
Mm-hmm.
even though I really care for them and I do my best, but I know that it's in God's hand. It's like I'm there as an instrument. It's not my work. It's His.
That's the thing that really enables us to do this kind of work to help mothers who are in need, to help babies who are in danger. So what is your favorite part of working with the volunteers at Loving Choice?
Working with the volunteers, well, I've met so many interesting people, really. And I feel the love of God in each of them. Like they want to share that love.
They want to share the love, and so you're coming from St. Anthony of Padua. Do you find that your Catholic faith actually impacts the way that you interact with the volunteers there and with the clients?
What do you mean with that?
Yeah. So, would you be doing it differently if you were working at a different pregnancy help center that wasn't Catholic?
No, not for me at least. No,
Mm-hmm.
not for me because at the end, well, I believe that everybody that volunteers in this kind of service, we are just following our Lord's commandment, which is love one another as I have loved you.
Mm-hmm.
That's in John 13:34.
You said you've been with Loving Choice since the beginning, about 3 years ago when they opened. How did you hear about it, and why did you make the choice to actually get involved with pro-life ministry like this?
Well, that was providential. I actually was looking to volunteer. Well, I have a friend in our church that she is very involved with the pro-life movement, and she encouraged me to volunteer to help in that area. So I was looking for a place to volunteer, but the one that I had, it wasn't as close from my house, but we were praying in front of one center that is dedicated to,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
uh-huh. So we were praying in front of them, and there was another group of people praying as well. So when everybody finished, we come close and introduce ourselves, and they were asking us if we were willing to volunteer in a new pregnancy center that they were planning to open in a few months. So they invited us to the first meeting, and I attended to the first meeting, and I check in myself or sign in myself as a possible volunteer. And as soon as they called me, I said yes, I'm here waiting for you.
That's the way that you do it. If you don't ask, you don't receive. And so they asked you, and you said yes, just like our Blessed Mother did when the Gabriel came to her, and she said, "Let it be done to me according to Thy will." You said, "I'm here to serve." So Erica, with Loving Choice, can you tell us what the need is as far as volunteers go at Loving Choice? Do you guys need a lot more people to help out?
Yes, sir. We our services requirements have increased very much in the last few months.
Hmm.
Or
So you have a
right
lot more
after
people
COVID.
calling, a lot more people asking for
Yes,
services.
right
Yeah.
after COVID, it was like a boom. Yes, our client number has increased. So the need of volunteers has increased as well. So yes, we have about 20 different positions for people to help, and they could be some of them could be done on site, and some of them could be done from
Okay,
home.
so can you tell me? We only have a couple minutes here, but can you tell me maybe what some of those positions are like? If you need some people to come into your location, which is on Kirkendall Road in Spring,
Yes, sir.
and then you need some
Yes.
people who can work from home, right?
Yes, we have some positions for people to volunteer from home because we appreciate any talent and any time that people can offer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What would they be doing from home?
They could help us, for example, with our website, with our social media. They could help translating documents from English, Spanish, and vice versa. They could be part of the prayer team. They could even help us in just only special events. We have some fundraisings during the year that they could just help for those events if they don't have any more time. So
excellent.
If you can volunteer just for 1 hour a year or 2 hours a week, we are going to accept your help.
That is wonderful. So I love that people who have limited time, who may not be able to get to Spring to actually go help you there, can still be supporting this pro-life ministry that is 100% faithful to the teachings of the Catholic Church, and helping so many mothers in even just a short time that Loving Choice has been operating as a Catholic Pregnancy Help Center. People can do that from all over the city. They can do it. They can do it from home. They can do it with limited amount of time. How would they get in touch with you to sign up for that, or just ask more questions about it?
Yes, they could email me at volunteers@loving-choice.org.
Volunteers or volunteer?
Volunteers.
Okay, so with an S on it, volunteers@loving-choice.org. And that's also the website, loving-choice.org. So I'm sure if people just go to the website, then they can probably find a contact there for you, right?
Or our phone number as well.
Can you give out the phone number twice? Let's do it 2 times so that people can write it down.
Okay. 832-559-7239.
And one more time.
832-559-7239.
Thank you very much. So, Erica Garcia Malave, thank you very much for joining us on the Catholic Lunch Break to talk about Loving Choice, the Catholic Pregnancy Help Center here in the greater Houston area. And may God richly bless you and continue your work there at Loving Choice.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And we have an awesome guest continuing the pro-life topic, the pro-life theme, coming up in our next segment. Sean Carney, the founder of 40 Days for Life, the global Catholic pro-life, or global pro-life organization, not specifically Catholic. But he is here in Houston, and he has some big news for us about a new event that's going to be happening in Washington, D.C. that you will want to get on your calendar. So stick around. You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. Southeast Houston Cardiology is a proud sponsor of this Guadalupe Radio Network station and The Doctor Is In with Dr. Ray Garendi. Southeast Houston Cardiology has been serving patients with heart disease and vascular disease with up-to-date, compassionate, and comprehensive care for more than 20 years. Southeast Houston Cardiology has 2 locations, Webster and Pasadena. You can contact them online at southeasthoustancardiology.com or 281-338-4004.
Active shooter events have become all too common across the country. They are unpredictable and evolve quickly. Knowing how to properly respond to an active shooter can be the difference between life and death. I'm Deputy Barry Curtis of Harris County Constable Precinct 5. Our certified instructors conduct free trainings on how you should respond to an active shooter to save lives. We also have other programs for kids, teens, and adults, all for free. Just contact Harris County Constable Precinct 5 to bring this active shooter or other programs to your school, church, or business.
If you're pregnant or worried you might be pregnant and don't know where to turn to, we want to help. At Loving Choice Pregnancy Center, we offer free pregnancy tests, an ultrasound, and other medical services as needed. The caring volunteers at Loving Choice will listen to you and provide compassionate options to help put you at ease. You are not alone. We are here for you every step of this journey. For more information, go to lovingchoice.org. That's lovingchoice.org.
KSHJ is sponsored by the Knights of Columbus Rangel Agency. For over 130 years, the primary mission of the Knights of Columbus has been to provide financial security to their members and their families, offering life insurance, long-term care insurance, disability income insurance, and annuity products. The Knights of Columbus are your shield for life. To learn more, find your agent, or discuss agent career opportunities in the Southeast Texas area, please contact General Agent Tony Rangel at 281-931-9100.
You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. So I know that a lot of you are already familiar with 40 Days for Life, but for those of you, don't fade out my microphone. Fade out. There we go. Okay. Sorry, just putting a little technical difficulties there. Most of you are already familiar with 40 Days for Life, but if you're new to Catholic radio and you're not familiar with 40 Days for Life, Sean Carney is actually one of the founding members and the current president and CEO of 40 Days for Life. It's an organization that's had vigils in over 1,000 cities spanning 63 countries, and they've saved over 23,500 lives through peaceful vigils on sidewalks outside of abortion facilities and referral centers. And it started here in Houston, because that's where Sean is. Sean Carney, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. You're here for our Pro-Life in Houston segment, but really what we're talking about is a big new event that's coming up this summer, the National Celebrate Life Day. This is we want to get this on the calendar for our Houston people, but where is it going to be?
Yeah, this will be awesome. It was going to be at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on the one-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision, the overturning of Roe versus Wade. It is going to be awesome. So it's June the 24th, which is also the Feast of the Sacred Heart. Great day to celebrate life.
Nice.
Great day to overturn
Perfect.
Roe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Supreme Court. And so it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, a great time to go to Washington, and we will be having a rally that day at the Lincoln Memorial, and then we will have a dinner that night. So we'll also have Dr. Alveda King, the niece of MLK, will speak at the Lincoln Memorial as well.
Wow. So this is different than the March for Life, which happens in January. Because why were these dates chosen, the January date and the June date?
Yes, so the March for Life has always been on the Roe v. Wade anniversary, the day that it was decided. Mm-hmm. And upon the overturning of Roe, the March, for many reasons, decided to keep it on the Roe anniversary. And so, but we felt there has to be something. I mean, we need to celebrate the end of Roe v. Wade. And so there has to be something on the anniversary of the Dobbs case. So we're hosting this event with our friends at Live Action and Students for Life, and it's just going to be it's what everybody's kind of clamoring for. They want a reason to celebrate this day. It's one of the greatest days in the history of America. The Supreme Court has dehumanized a segment of our population twice. They did it with Dred Scott and slavery, and they did it with Roe v. Wade and the unborn. And now they overturned it. They corrected their error, and so we're gonna celebrate.
That is really worth. It was worth adding a day onto our pro-life schedules here. So now we've got these two big events that happen in D.C. about 6 months apart. This first one, June 24th. This year, 1 year after the Dobbs decision. So you mentioned that Alveda King is going to be one of the headliners. What is this? What do we hope to accomplish with this? Is it just to show support for the pro-life cause?
Absolutely, and all we've seen just a lot of people in the world lose their minds since Roe was overturned, and we have to stop and set the tone and say, this is a great day. God bless the Supreme Court. Shame on the Supreme Court for even giving us Roe. But God bless them for correcting their error and sending a message throughout the world. I think the negative overtone has been prominent since Roe was overturned, and Roe needed to be overturned. This is great. There are people, sprinting to be on the wrong side of history, and we want to publicly do something in the nation's capital that says this is one of the greatest days of America. This isn't a horrible day. Nobody's dying in the streets. The world did not end. As a result, the birth rate has gone up in our country in the last year. But it's something we need to celebrate, so that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, so it's not like a protest. It's really a celebration. Like you say, National Celebrate Life Day. Actually, there's a website. I got it here in the notes, nationalcelebratelifeday.com. So if people want to go check it out there, is there like a cost to attend, or can people just show up? Or how are you organizing people getting there?
It's free. It's free. I know 40 Days for Life, we're going to have a number of buses going. from different parts of the country, but it is free to attend. You get to enjoy our nation's capital. There is a dinner that night. There's a charge if you want to go to the dinner. But one of the reasons we really felt led to do this is because so many did not get to see this day, who poured so much into the pro-life movement, who, were doing pro-life work before I was even born. And we want to honor them. We will at this event honor the pro-lifers who have gone before us. How many people now, especially just in Houston, you go around and they say, I just never thought I'd see the day that Roe v. Wade was overturned. And we did see that day, and I think we owe it to them to commemorate it, to celebrate it. This is not a march. So it doesn't take away from the March for Life.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a rally at the Lincoln Memorial. It'll be about 2 hours, but it's going to be awesome. We're already getting a lot of secular news coverage. We anticipate getting a lot more as we get closer to the date, because this really highlights something that needs to be highlighted.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that Roe has been overturned, and your 40 Days for Life has been very, very strong on that message of we need to make abortion illegal, we need to save babies. What is the main message now in the pro-life movement? How do we go forward from where we are now that it's possible for states to make abortion illegal?
Well, right now we have about 20 states that are essentially abortion free. And so we're obviously want to add to that. One of the significant things that the Supreme Court did when they sent it back to the states is abortion leaves the Supreme Court, where frankly we've had a lot of disappointment, whether it be in presidential nominations, whether it be in the justices themselves, people like Chief Justice Roberts, who's been useless for Catholics and pro-lifers over the years. We've just had disappointment after disappointment. And this was a positive. This was a victory. And so the abortion industry is very top heavy. They have a lot of strength in D.C., and that's worked out for them. But in the meantime, the pro-life movement has gone to work at the local level. And now that this is leaving the Supreme Court, it's going from where we're the weakest as a movement to where we're the strongest as a movement, and that's in the grassroots. And so you can close an abortion facility everywhere. We've closed 139 of them. Just our last few were in San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago. So it doesn't matter, because it really does boil down to hearts and minds, and that means you can end abortion anywhere. You're not making New Jersey abortion free through legislation, or New York or California. That's just not going to happen.
It's hearts and minds, like you said.
Yeah, you can through the market and through changing hearts and minds.
Yeah, and I like what you said about the pro-life movement being the strongest at the grassroots. We were just talking in our last segment with Loving Choice Catholic Pregnancy Help Center here in the Houston area, and they're focused on moms. They're focused on helping women actually get through their pregnancies and to become good parents. And whether they're single or whether they have the men involved, they actually have the volunteers, guys who are volunteering to talk with the men and get them to man up and help father these babies and to be good families. And so that is really where the pro-life movement is the strongest. So if we've got great pro-lifers here in Houston who have been looking for this day for a long time and they want to celebrate it with National Celebrate Life Day, you mentioned some buses from 40 Days for Life. Do you have any of those coming from Houston?
We do not. We don't have any buses coming from Houston. Most of ours are further on the East Coast or in the South, the Deep South. Mm-hmm. But if somebody wants to organize a bus, we will help them.
Well, there you go. Hey, you heard it here, folks.
Yeah. They'll be. I know that there are a lot of Texans going. It's a great time to be in D.C. The weather is awesome. We can kind of escape our heat in late June. And what a patriotic time. There's a lot that we're not celebrating that's going on in our country because we shouldn't celebrate it. But this is something we can definitely celebrate and be proud of our country and help continue to right a grave moral wrong in our nation's history.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's nationalcelebratelifeday.com on June 24th this year. You got about a month, I guess, to plan your trip. Nationalcelebratelifeday.com. And Sean Carney, can you tell us a little bit about 40 Days for Life in general? Like, how are things going right now? What big plans do you have? Any big announcements?
Well, since Roe was overturned, we have just been on a roller coaster ride because the demand for 40 Days for Life, because abortion's back in the grassroots, is just at an all-time high. So we have had extreme growth. We've added locations, we've added volunteers, and that's despite losing locations for the best reason, which is abortion facilities closed after Roe was overturned. So despite that, we've added U.S. cities, we've added volunteers. We're doing more in-person trainings across the country, particularly in the most pro-abortion locations in the country. And this summer we'll host our largest in-person training we've ever done. It'll be in Orlando. We usually have it in Houston because I'm biased.
Yeah, of course.
But we're the East Coasters. We're starting to riot, so we're moving it out to Florida for a year, and we'll have Mark Houck speak at that. We'll have Abby Johnson speak at that. We have a former Navy SEAL who will speak at that, and we'll train local leaders. So we've just been booming since Roe was overturned. It's been our busiest time, but it's 40 Days for Life is just more needed, as are the pregnancy resource centers. They're more needed now than ever because this goes to the grassroots.
Okay, excellent. And one other thing that Teresa put in the notes here, last Thursday you announced the publication of Dr. Haywood Robinson's book, The Scalpel and the Soul. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, Haywood and his late wife Noreen were both married doctors. They both were abortion doctors for a number of years. They had a dramatic conversion as they were starting their own family, and it's just a wild ride. And it's a story of certainly of grace and of mercy, but it also takes you into a world that you would never go to unless an abortionist took you there. And it's how did they get into it? Why did they do it? How did they justify it? And just some of the highs and lows of their life. The unique thing about them is I don't know of another married couple where they were both abortion doctors.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's just phenomenal. Haywood's from Los Angeles. Noreen is from Trinidad and Tobago. But a great book. It's out on the anniversary of Dobbs. You can pre-order The Scalpel and the Soul. There's no pro-life book like this. There has never been a book like this, and it is very well done. I think people will be very moved by it. So you can, if you order it directly from us, you get one of the few signed hardbacks. If you pre-order,
there you go,
a hardback from us, Haywood will sign it.
Okay, so go to 40daysforlife.com. That's 40, the number 40, daysforlife.com, and you can look at that there, 40daysforlife.com. Sean Carney, any last parting words for the Houston audience before we say goodbye to you?
Well, besides Go Astros, I want to say that this is such a great time to be pro-life in our country, and particularly to be pro-life and Catholic. And we need to use that from a standpoint of evangelization. Use abortion being in the news as a way to share your Catholic faith and speak to natural law and eternal law. And it has just created so many opportunities for evangelization. With abortion being in the news, we need to take advantage of it.
Well, thank you so much. Christ is our life, and in Him we live and move and have our being. And so 40daysforlife.com. Thank you very much, Sean Carney, for joining us on the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you again. You're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break. We catch up on everything Catholic in Houston, and so we do get to bring you all kinds of stuff from around the city. Last week, while we were on the air, my colleague Wyatt Goolsby was at the Epiphany of the Lord golf tournament in Katy, and the Catholics in Katy are actually encouraging the faithful to deepen their relationship with God by attending Acts retreats. Now, I know a lot of you are very familiar with Acts retreats, and you're going to love this. But if you've never heard of an Acts retreat before, I think Wyatt, his report here, is going to enlighten you. So, Taylor, go ahead and let's play Wyatt's report.
Faith and fellowship have been top of mind this month for Catholics in Katy. In this case, 18 holes of golf at the Willow Fork Country Club. Volunteers from Epiphany of the Lord Catholic Church, like Noel Rando, helped organize the church's third annual charity golf tournament. This year, about 7 dozen golfers registered.
Part of it is raising funds, and then part of it is fellowship. I think the more times that we can get together, I think that fellowship is something that this world needs more of.
Rando says community is key, which is why they wanted to financially support what's called an Acts Retreat. Many Catholic parishes across the country host the 3-day and 3-night lay event annually, often one for men and one for women. Stacy Soto helps organize the retreats at Epiphany.
ACTS stands for Adoration, Community, Theology, and Service. So it's just a beautiful retreat experience. Can't divulge too much information, but I will say that after attending my retreat in 2019, it did change my life, and it definitely got me more involved with my parish community and definitely helped me with my relationship with God.
Soto says after attending such a spiritually uplifting retreat, it's important to foster an environment where attendees can gather again to support the mission. It's one of the reasons Terry Bray wanted to help as a volunteer coordinator for the golf tournament.
After these retreats, sometimes some of the retreatants come back into the church and they're revived and renewed. They join up in different ministries, perhaps they've never participated in, and they become more aware of exactly what there is available to be involved in at the parish.
Bray urges you to consider attending an Acts retreat if you haven't before.
They will get a lot out of the weekend. And people who are not in our church nor in our faith, they're also able to attend a retreat.
And that's critical, Bray says, to bringing others into a deeper understanding of the church. Denise Majeski, this year's co-director, agrees, which is why she was willing to spend more than a year helping to organize the event.
Whenever you're involved in your faith and when you're involved in the church and the community, you're volunteering for something bigger than yourself. It's not about the individual, it's about the community. And so for me, being involved in this is just extremely important because I come here and I see people from all walks of life.
And in many ways, the phrase all walks of life describes the church, which aims to bring more men and women into the faith of Christ. This is Wyatt Goolsby reporting. Now back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Wyatt. That's some good stuff happening. Father Tom Lamb there over at Epiphany of the Lord. And yeah, matter of fact, when I was broadcasting from St. Matthias just yesterday, several of the people mentioned the Acts retreats and how it changed their lives. And that's what I've heard. Everyone who's attended an Acts retreat has told me it changes their lives. David, you said that too, right? Yeah, David's nodding his head. Okay, so you're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break. We're catching up on everything Catholic in Houston. Don't forget, our prayer breakfast is coming up a week from tomorrow in the Galleria area. We have a Catholic radio prayer breakfast with the speaker Brock Akers, an attorney at the Akers firm and really a pro-life warrior himself. Also, the prayers are going to be led by Father Eduardo Rivera, parochial vicar at St. Anne Catholic Church. This is a new location for our prayer breakfast series at Sylvia's Enchilada Kitchen on Woodway Drive. Love to see you there. Network with some people before work and help take Jesus with you that day. It's only $10 for the breakfast, and it's going to be exciting to get into a new location. We've had our Katy prayer breakfast, our Heights prayer breakfast, and now here in the Galleria, I want to see if we can get a few new people to come. So if you work around there or if you live around there, come on over before lunch, before work, and meet some other Catholics. And don't just relegate your Catholic faith to Sundays, but try to do it on Tuesdays as well, particularly Tuesday, May 16th at Sylvia's Enchilada Kitchen. The details for that, and you can sign up for the breakfast, are at grnonline.com/Houston Breakfast, grnonline.com/Houston Breakfast. It's only $10 for the breakfast. Business sponsorships are available if you want to get a little extra recognition for your business. grnonline.com/Houston Breakfast. And when we come back, we are going to be celebrating a huge anniversary for the oldest Catholic school in the city, Incarnate Word Academy. We have the principal herself here with us, and along with some others from the school as well. So you're listening to the Catholic Lunch Break, and we'll be back right after this.
Deacon Glenn Trahan here, owner of the TRW family of companies and proud sponsor of the Guadalupe Radio Network. For For 60 years, TRW has helped our clients to optimize the use of their facilities with operable wall products, creating effective, flexible, and acoustically controlled workspaces, making them more productive and successful. And TRW is committed to supporting ministries that also make our community and our world a better place, just like this Guadalupe Radio Network station. You can contact me at trwfamily.com. God bless.
Please join us for the 13th annual Evening with the Bishops event benefiting St. Dominic Village. At this event, we will honor the life and legacy of Archbishop Emeritus Joseph A. Fiorenza. We will also be honoring the Scanlon Foundation. The event will be at 6 p.m. for a VIP reception and 7 p.m. for dinner at the Junior League of Houston on Briar Oaks Lane. Tickets, tables, and sponsorships are available at stdominicvillage.org.
Hi, this is Walter Crawford with the Catholic Homeschool Conference. On June 9th and 10th, we will be hosting an online conference for Catholic homeschoolers. There will be live and pre-recorded talks, rosary to start each day of the conference, interactive workshops, parent networking, and much more. More information can be found at CatholicHomeschoolConference.com. That is CatholicHomeschoolConference.com.
Men, how long has it been since you've been to a men's conference? This is David Magianis, and I will be the MC for the upcoming Ora et Labora Men's Conference on Saturday, June 10th at St. Bartholomew Catholic Church in Katy. Come join me and join other men to be inspired, formed, and empowered, and hear dynamic speakers cover the topics of fatherhood, addictions, life of virtue, prayer, leadership, work-life faith balance, and much more. To register, go to the parish website, st-bart.org.
This is the Catholic Lunch Break. We're catching up on everything Catholic in Houston. My name is Tim, and one of the biggest Catholic things in Houston, or I should say the pillars of the Catholic community here, is Incarnate Word Academy, celebrating their sesquicentennial anniversary this year. 150 years of great Catholic education from the Sisters of the Incarnate Word. Joining us to talk about that are the principal, Kathy Stephen, and the director of college counseling, Dr. Talia Pennington-Dorsey. Kathy, Talia, welcome to the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us to be with you today.
I ran into you at Steps for Students.
That's right.
Yeah, you came up to our booth there in February, and we were broadcasting in the cold, and it was fun.
It was.
How did Incarnate Word perform during the run there?
Well, we're proud to say we pulled in the President's Cup once again.
Nice,
so Sister
nice.
Lauren Beck has that in a prominent place in our front office. It's very exciting.
Well, you kind of have a home field advantage, you might say, being downtown there.
You know, we're quite comfortable on the downtown streets, and if you want to do a 5K, that's a fun place to do it.
Yeah,
Steps for Students.
I bet you get a lot of students who say, I don't want to come back on a Saturday, though.
Actually, we do have an opportunity for them to volunteer, and we've got a really good track record. See what I did there? Track record.
Track record, yeah.
A good track record for supporting through volunteerism. So that's really good for our girls. Not just running it, but volunteering that day. So it's fun.
Nice. Okay, so first of all, let's just tell people about Incarnate Word Academy. You're talking to the entire greater Houston area. Some people that are listening never even go downtown, so they may not know what your school is like. But tell me about it.
Well, we want to celebrate that the history of Houston includes everyone here. So Sister Lauren Beck is our president. And just last week, Bishop Italo was our celebrant for our massive celebration to begin the sesquicentennial year.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a word that is a great spelling bee word. All the girls will know it next year for sure. And so we celebrate all year with our staff and students, and we invite alumni to join us as well. Many exciting opportunities. So 150 years in Houston in the same location.
Now, it's interesting that the Archdiocese itself just celebrated 175 years last year.
That's right.
So really, you've been, Incarnate Word's been around almost the entire span of the Archdiocese.
That's right.
Yeah.
So somebody knows somebody who went to Incarnate Word Academy, whether it was your grandmother, your aunt, or your own mom, or yourself. So we've got lots of legacy generations at our school. It's very exciting.
Now, how many students do you have?
We have 265, and we'll always be a small school because we're a vertical school. So we have a building downtown. It's very exciting to have. It is next door to Annunciation and across the street from Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, well, I think Minute Maid Park is across the street from you.
Oh, yes. Let's
Yeah,
do it that way,
exactly.
shall we? Yes. Who is whose neighbor, right? Yes.
Ghost Rose.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
So, Talia, tell me about what you do there at Incarnate Word.
So I am excited to really oversee our college counseling department. Many of our girls have aspirations to go on after high school and be amazing citizens and global leaders, right? And so I help them very early on identify their passion, their plan, and their purpose. And we do that as early as freshman year. And we really work with the girls all through their tenure of high school to help them just get on that pathway and to not only identify what those plans and those passions are, but really help them kind of nurture them into being scholars so that they can graduate from high school and transition to college and then into their career.
Yeah, so college prep has been a very important part of Incarnate Word for a long time now.
Absolutely.
Has it always been that way since the beginning?
So it's funny you ask because we used to teach girls fancy work. And I had to figure out from our own
Fancy
history.
work. I've never heard. What is
Right,
fancy
it's
work?
appropriate and proper stitching and embroidery. All girls should know this way back in the day. And so now we've gone from fancy work to finance. And we do a course even in personal finance, which is really an important part of our leadership program.
Wow. Okay. And so Incarnate Word is located right next to Annunciation Catholic Church. I know
Right.
because Minute Maid's across the street from both of you, and you kind of share a parking lot and everything. But how does that being next to one of the oldest churches in the Archdiocese, how does that influence the life of the students?
It's a wonderful benefit. So most of our high schools here in Houston, our Catholic high schools, are not necessarily affiliated with a church on property. So when they do Mass, they transform their gym or auditorium to a sacred space. We are blessed to be able to just walk next door and truly be in a sacred space, the oldest church in Houston. So Annunciation is a great partner for us and has been since 1873.
How often do you have Mass?
We have Mass at least once a month, sometimes 2 times, and we have lots of different celebrations that we like to do.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. So Talia, tell me about the kinds of colleges that your alumni end up in.
So our girls really go coast to coast, right? And just not even limited to the United States, but even international. We have one senior that is going to be studying in Spain next year. And we have them going from literally here in Houston to the military academies, right? And we don't have an ROTC program, so you would think, why the military? But our girls really have servant leader hearts and really take that and that translates really into their passion and what they want to do long term. So we have girls that will go to school. We have a few going to the Boston area. We have some staying here in Texas, A&M, of course, UT Austin. We have some going to Notre Dame, Indiana, to St. Mary's College. And a lot of our girls, they definitely do want to, of course, stay true to themselves, right, and stay committed to the Catholic values and traditions. So we have one girl going to St. Louis University, which is the Catholic college in St. Louis, Missouri. And so, again, the range spans, but wherever they desire, it is my job and my goal to help them identify that and then to help them with that goal.
Yeah, I think the high school years are an interesting kind of transition. We often think of middle school as kind of, that time when everything's changing all at once, and then people like high school, that's the golden years, right? But there's a lot of that you're trying to set people up for, like build a strong foundation for their future. How do you go about doing that as a college counselor?
So some of the things, like I said, we talk about is really identifying the 3 Ps is what I call them: their purpose, their plan, and their passion. And through that, we really just help them through different programs, help them, of course, through our leadership program on campus. A lot of it comes through volunteerism. A lot of it comes through summer programs, right? Really identifying, is this something that I really want to do? And I think if we really think long and hard, we probably said to ourselves, hey, I want to be a doctor one day, right? And then discovered that I don't like blood. So I probably, right? And so in high school, we really want them to have those opportunities. And I think about Houston, and we are really the medical mecca, right? And so partnering with a lot of organizations here in Houston, of course, different medical organizations in the medical center, and having our girls do summer internship programs there, really identifying to see if this is what they want to do. Engineering is a really big career path that our girls want to take, and so partnering with UT Austin Engineering and some of those different engineering firms to have our girls there and having that hands-on experience, I think is really how we help them, one, cultivate their interests, and then two, give them the motivation to continue on to really reach that goal once they graduate.
Now, I'm curious. Do a lot of the girls kind of have an idea of where they want to go, and you're kind of like guiding them into that, or do they just open in like I don't know, and you have to like give ideas to them?
It's all of the above, right? And what I appreciate so much about our girls is they have an open mind, right? And so they're not just thinking about I want to stay local, I want to stay home because this is what I'm comfortable. There's so many institutions that I introduced them to just based off my knowledge, because I do take my role very seriously and I get educated just as well as they do. And so like I was sharing before the show, I'm going to the University of Oregon next week to learn more about that institution, right? And so our girls literally, they're so open and hungry for knowledge. And so, again, some come in with their list and they say, this is what I want. And sometimes we have to rearrange it, and be realistic. And I think that's one of probably the hardest part of my role, just being realistic. Yeah. But I think that long term, they appreciate, that we were able to be realistic and to kind of just navigate some tough corners to get where we want to be.
Absolutely. It's very similar to like the discernment process that a lot of vocations priests go through. Yeah.
One of the greatest things about Dr. Pennington Dorsey's work with our students is that she's able to see all 4 classes, freshman through senior. And that's an unusual experience for a college counselor. So the girls get to begin their conversations with her in 9th grade. And although that feels like a huge future forward, we all know those 4 years go very quickly. So designing the path and lighting that way, as Christ did for us, we have a chance to just light their path and help them see themselves in the likeness of God.
It builds the foundation even deeper, starting there from the freshman year. We're talking with Principal Kathy Stephen and Dr. Talia Pennington Dorsey, the Director of College Counseling for Incarnate Word Academy here on the Catholic Lunch Break, celebrating their sesquicentennial anniversary. It just kicked it off last week. The school was founded by the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word. Are they still involved? I know Sister Lauren Beck, of course, is the president.
Well, the Sisters of the Incarnate Word and Blessed Sacrament from Lyon, France came over, and they haven't left us yet, right? And so we are really blessed to have a beautiful relationship with that sisterhood to help us build our sisterhood at school. So yes, we are still quite engaged with those lovely sisters who have a great history at our school and really enjoy spending time with the alumni that they still remember and recognize.
Yes.
It's great.
As a girls' school, how do you recruit? How do you recruit from parishes, from neighborhoods, from other schools?
That's a great question. Yeah. So something we brought forward just last month is called the Bible Bowl. And it's a chance for us to engage with the students of all of our elementary Catholic schools, to put together a quiz bowl team and come out on a Saturday and challenge one another with the most grace and wonder. I think they learned as much about the Bible as they knew answers already. So it was really a wonderful competition. But so we do activities on our campus. We have a chance to have 8th grades come through our school and tour in the fall. We engage with our brother school, St. Thomas High School, which is our matched school for a full student experience for high school.
There you go.
Football games, all of that thing. So it's really great to continue to uphold our relationships with our younger Catholic schools. And we also welcome those public school students who are seeing right now the challenges of the ISDs, as we know, watching the news every day and wondering what's going to happen for their daughters, right? And so we welcome them to apply as well.
Oh, excellent.
Sure.
Excellent. So 150 years is a great start.
Right.
Where do you see the school going from here?
Well, we have a very niche program that we'd love to talk to you about. It's called our leadership program.
Okay.
And so it's a chance for the girls to engage in leadership, not only understanding how that works in a corporate world, but works right now in their lives, right? And so we know and understand that women tend to be competitive instead of collaborative. And so we want to break that down, and we want to make sure that we recognize with great transparency where those conflicts and challenges might be and then overcome them through training. So our leadership program offers 4 different courses. And our freshmen take a year-long course called Leading with Character and Academics, and it teaches them the executive functions of the brain, study skills, planning and organization, engagement and conflict resolution, all kinds of things about not just their character and the values that are so important to our motto, academics, values, and spirituality, but also how to collaborate and those 21st century skills of, really understanding themselves and one another and getting things accomplished.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And so it continues on with the sophomores and the juniors and the
Right.
seniors as
So
well. Yeah.
Yes. The 3 other courses we have are Leading with Business, and our students get a chance to build their own business and take those proceeds and support another nonprofit of their choice.
Really?
Yes.
Like as a project for the class.
That's right. We just had the Bubble Tea House was open, and they were serving boba tea Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons. Made, I would say, $1 million, but it was quite a hot product, And so sometimes they've done and organized different opportunities, and so it's student led.
Okay.
And so they take those profits and they give generously. Another course is the Personal Finance, Leading with Personal Finance, where right now our students are learning about home budgets and beyond budgets for their lives beyond college and what the reality is. Stock markets and investments, 401ks, those important things that we want and expect all these college students to know, but no one's taken the time to stop and teach it to them.
Right.
I would love a leading with how to change a flat tire. I think that's another important skill for everyone in this world. But then we have Leading with Service. And Leading with Service is really a beautiful opportunity for us to, again, partner with those younger Catholic schools and go into those schools and lead the students, lead the younger ones, middle schoolers or even elementary students, in a service project for another organization.
That is the best way to form, is to actually put it into practice
Right.
there. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, 100%. So we're up against the end of our show here. So how can people learn more about Incarnate Word Academy?
Well, certainly through our website, incarnateword.org. We do have space available in our upcoming freshman class, and we invite anyone concerned about the high schools and their daughter's experience to make application. We are still receiving applications and excited to look at those and build a new freshman class for a new 150 years.
Excellent. Well, Principal Kathy and Dr. Talia, thank you very much for joining us on the Catholic Lunch Break.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go check out incarnateword.org. And
Right.
that'll do it for another Catholic Lunch Break here, where we catch up on everything Catholic in Houston. We're going to do it again next week. The Catholic Lunch Break is actually underwritten in part by Loving Choice Catholic Pregnancy Help Center, who we heard from earlier in the show today. Guided by the Holy Spirit and the teachings of the Catholic Church, Loving Choice extends God's love in the form of emotional, educational, material, and spiritual support to parents and families as they embrace the challenges of an unplanned pregnancy. They perform free ultrasounds, free pregnancy tests, and they listen, provide compassionate options without any judgment or pressure. You can be a volunteer for Loving Choice. Find out more at loving-choice.org. Loving-choice.org. Always make the loving choice. Now, next week on the show, we have we're catching up more on Catholic stuff in Houston. Probably got some more that we'll be reporting on the prayer breakfast and everything. But David, I don't know if we'll have a sports report since the playoffs just happened. But right now, stay tuned for Dr. David Anders coming up on Call to Communion, where he answers the toughest questions that you can throw at him about the Catholic faith, especially if you're not Catholic. Keep listening. Until next time, stay Catholic, Houston, and may God richly bless you.